So Joe, today we're going to visit some British Indian curry houses. There is a distinction there because these probably aren't going to be like the most traditional Indian meals that you've ever had in your life, but they are specifically British Indian cuisine. The way that we've identified these is places that have chicken tikka masala on the menu. Have you had that before?
I think so, yeah.
Although I think there is some debate as to whether or not it's like a British Indian dish or whether or not some places do serve it in India, but it's just become really popular here.
Man, you British, can you guys just stop colonizing for like 5 minutes? Let them have a thing. Okay, well, regardless, I'm really stoked to get it. I'm so jet lagged, I'm like this close to crying. So I feel like some Indian food would really hit the spot.
Yeah, this could be like an emotional day for you. So we're here at Tayyabs. This is an East London institution that's been here for years. People love it. Celebrities come here. Jon Favreau absolutely loves this place. Came here with Pedro Pascal. Love him. The standard things that we're going to order today, like I said, probably the chicken tikka masala.
Yes.
And then probably a naan as well. We might slightly mix up the filling of the naan or the topping of the naan, but I think those two are a good baseline. Does that sound good?
Yeah, great.
They're kind of famous for their lamb chops here. They do a really good grilled spiced lamb chop. So I think we should get some of those.
You know they're good when the picture made the menu.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. That sounds good. It's not too much food, but I think we should pace ourselves. I've learned the hard way that we should pace ourselves.
Oh, I know. That's your problem, pal.
These are the poppadoms. Have you had these before?
Probably. Yeah,
Possibly.
yeah.
Okay. You get these, and they always come with a range of dips.
And I'm just taking one.
Yeah, you can kind of go for whatever. Some people just karate chop the whole thing.
Did you want to do that for?
I mean, do you want to do that as our guest of honor?
Sure. Ready?
Just go for it.
Gah! Wait.
There we go.
Now it's all.
And then you just have nice little bits that you can kind of pick and dip. And these will probably come out immediately because they've just always got like a stack of them ready to go in the kitchen. They bring these out, you have a few of these, then the rest of the food kind of like starts to come out. So we've got a few dips here. This one, mango chutney. Getting any mango flavors from that?
I am getting mango flavors, and that is so good.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite one.
Wow.
Yeah, it will vary slightly depending on the curry house, but normally you're getting a mango chutney, a yogurt cream-based sauce, like a raita of some kind, and then usually a spicy option as well. Haven't actually tried that one yet. How spicy are we looking?
Not very spicy, but enough spice to let you know it's there. Right?
I love this. This was always the one where, like, if you came for a family meal and you had a curry,
yeah,
your parents would be shouting at you at this point to not fill up on poppadoms.
I was about to say, slow down. This is like in America when you get Mexican food. After you order, chips and salsa at the table.
Nice. We don't really get that here, but I see how that would be equally as dangerous as this. Yeah.
Because you're waiting and you're socializing and you're just hitting it. Next thing you know, your food shows up and you're like, I'm not hungry anymore.
So, like, obviously you guys have Indian food in the US.
Yeah.
But am I right in thinking it's just like culturally not as significant and not as much of a big deal?
I think it's pretty popular. I mean, I understand the India culture here in Great Britain, only more evident over the century or so versus in America. But hey, America's a melting pot, baby. We got everyone. Yeah. We got everyone and we got everything.
Ooh, there we go.
Yes,
Thank you. Oh, yes. All right.
I'm losing my mind. I'm instinctually grabbing my head because I feel like it's going to spin off. This looks, oh my God.
That's pretty good, right?
Oh my God. This looks so good.
I think the rest is on its way.
Yeah, they're bringing it in. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Thanks very much.
I have to say, everything here looks absolutely incredible. I'm so excited.
Me too, honestly.
Oh, wow.
I'm just excited to eat. Should we just dive in?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I feel like grab yourself a lamb chop.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's sizzle.
Oh my goodness, that's not a bed of grilled onions.
Yeah, that's onions in. A lot of people will refer to it as naan bread. That's actually just like saying bread twice, because naan is just kind of an Indian word for bread.
Do you want me to do the chicken tikka masala first?
I feel like it's up to you, man. Go crazy. I think that's a nice place to start our curry journey today.
That's what we're here for. We're doing this at every place, so let me try it. Here we go.
What are you getting there, Joe?
Well, it's delicious. I love the flavors.
Good start.
Really taste how the meat is grilled. Sauce is incredible. What are some of the distinct flavors here that I'm getting?
It will vary slightly depending on the restaurant you're in. Generally speaking, they will start with a masala, which is kind of the way that you actually refer to like a blend of spices.
Yeah.
Some common ones, kind of like ginger, cardamom, coriander in there as well.
Flavor-wise, profile is absolutely incredible. No notes on that.
No.
Very good, but I mean this
I'll try some of this lamb, man. This lamb looks beautiful. There's some juicy lamb chops.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Oh, it's so juicy.
Okay, so the spice on this pairs with the lamb perfectly, right? The flavor's just jumping out at me right away. It's enough spice to know that it's there, but it really accents the flavor of the meat perfectly. It pairs with it incredibly. So I don't feel like I'm eating a piece of meat that was just covered in a spice.
No.
Yeah,
you can tell this has been like marinated.
Yeah.
It's been cooked in the sauce. Just like you say, they're not just like cooking them separately and then kind of like combining them at the last second.
Yeah.
That flavor is in there.
Yeah.
You might also see some variation with like the type of chicken that's in there as well.
Okay.
We're generally talking chicken breast pieces, but I think this is good because you get like quite big pieces of chicken.
Yeah.
So they've stayed really tender in the cooking process as well. Really juicy. It's not really about the heat with the chicken tikka masala. This is something that was kind of adapted for the British palate, so not super spicy.
Yeah.
But in terms of the richness of the flavor, it's really, really tasty.
That's what I'm talking about, richness.
Quite tomatoey. Do you get the tomato coming through from that?
I absolutely do. This, to me, I just want to like take the chicken and the rice and the naan, put it all together, boom.
It's kind of the joy of like eating at an Indian restaurant.
Yeah.
You can kind of just mix whatever you want. Often if you come with a big group,
Yeah.
you'd all get like a few dishes and you just kind of like share them around, try lots of different things.
If the camera wasn't here, I would lick this bone clean. The sauce is just...
The camera's here and I am licking the bone clean, so
Yeah.
go crazy.
I'm not going to. I don't want the footage on the internet.
So they don't eat a ton of lamb in the US, right? It's like not super common.
Lamb doesn't seem to be as popular of a meat in the U.S. as it is here, certainly. But I think that's something to do with the fact that the U.S., like clearly we're just like cattle, beef, pork, beef, pork. Like the two animals were really just pushing on the population for at least 200 years. There certainly is lamb. It's just not as popular, yeah.
Interesting. I will say these are like some of the best lamb chops I've ever had. These are like fantastic.
Yeah.
So we took you to Tayyabs because it's kind of like a elevated British Indian experience, I would say. It's like a pretty standard British Indian curry house in the terms of like, you know, the decor, it's a little bit kitschy. They have some familiar things on the menu like the tikka masala.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, like I say, this is kind of like an elevated version of a tikka masala. The place we're going to go to next, I think will give you a much more authentic, like British Indian experience, particularly when it comes to the masala. I think the color might surprise you. The flavors might surprise you a bit. It's going to be interesting.
All right. This was fantastic, but how authentic is it?
I don't know if you've noticed this about me, Joe, but I'm actually not from India. So I can't really talk to the authenticity of the food and the cuisine. I can maybe talk to the experience of a British curry house, but not that part. I have invited a friend along who's going to meet us at the next place, who I think will be able to explain a little bit more about what British Indian cuisine actually is, how it compares to actual Indian cuisine, and we'll kind of go from there.
Sounds great.
I've known Kev for many years. We've been at Insider together for what, like 5 years now?
It's been over 5 years for
We're
me.
kind of old. Yeah, we
we're
started
old.
on the same desk together, have kind of like gone separate ways and now rejoined again on the video team, which is great. You might have heard her voice on So Expensive videos.
That's how I know you.
There you go. And there's also, I don't think anyone more qualified, at least that I know, to talk about the authenticity of Indian food, definitely more so than I am.
Well, I grew up in Liverpool, but my mum immigrated from Karachi when she was quite small. I think she might have been about 1. And her mum was from Uttar Pradesh, which means that she's Upite. And her dad was from Sindh, so she's Sindhi and Upite. And because I've got that background there, obviously we grew up at home, kind of like cooking a lot of food, making like rotis on the cover all the time. We cooked food at home ourselves quite a lot. And we did also go out for lots of Indians, which is quite a British phenomenon. Like it's very important, but in my mind that's quite separate to sort of the food that we had at home. So let's see how the food stands up, I guess. I think 2 metrics are important here, so I'm going to be measuring this against like different chicken tikka masalas that I've had elsewhere, but I'm also going to be measuring this against my mum's butter chicken or chicken makhana, which I'm going to say that it's kind of more authentic.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Great.
I mean, if this beats your mum's curry, I feel like that could be a problem.
She's going to see this video. I know she's in the comments. She's definitely a food tours head, so.
Of
I'm
course.
scared.
So you may be wondering why we're at this restaurant specifically.
Very much so.
There's a few reasons for it. Obviously, Brick Lane and Curry, iconic in London. Like this is the place where you will probably go if you just Google like London curry houses.
Okay.
This is kind of where it's going to send you. It's very iconic. There's so many of them. There's like 23 or 24 restaurants just on this one stretch of road, which is a lot. But this one consistently just dominates in the rankings. People have rated this really highly. It's very up there on TripAdvisor. I think it's the 15th best rated restaurant in the whole of London on TripAdvisor. Not just curry houses, just restaurants in general.
Fantastic.
All those people can't be wrong, right?
That's correct. I totally agree. They should have that in the window, though. Do they?
Maybe they do.
I think they generally tend to put pictures of the celebrities who've visited.
I have noticed that, so thank you. One thing, so I live in Los Angeles, and what's really popular there, they do this as well, But another thing they'll do is, because everyone in Los Angeles is a performer, is that they'll give them a signed headshot,
Nice.
which makes sense. But then when you go into restaurants, be plastered with framed headshots, and you're like, I don't know who any of these people are.
Right.
Yeah, so.
It could be a good way
thanks.
to
Yeah.
like try and get a discount on your bill. Be like, I'm actually kind of famous.
Yeah.
Here's
the
my headshot.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're like, "Oh,
You just
yeah,
you fold that into the little tab book. Like there you go.
do the handshake
Yeah,
where you like
yeah,
slide
yeah.
it in.
Yeah, it's like this big picture. Like, can I get a table near the window? Because like, what are you doing?
A4 size headshot.
That's 8.5 by 11 inch. All right.
I'm actually really curious to try this because I don't know that I've ever tried vindaloo before.
No?
Oh, really?
Look at the colour on that. That's beautiful.
That is bright.
Wow.
Wow.
Yellow rice.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Some ketchup, please.
Ketchup. Did we order ketchup?
For the
Yeah, but this
Cheers.
is
A lot of ketchup.
That's so much ketchup.
okay.
We've been given a
very
small.
generous with
This
the
is
ketchup.
Small
exactly
bucket
like
of
my
ketchup.
mum makes it, by the way. Exactly. This is
With the ketchup.
With the ketchup as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, it's funny.
Garlic naan.
Thank you. We have a small feast.
I'm really curious about this. That's almost like it might be radioactive. Like
Yes.
it's very bright. I don't think I've seen a chicken tikka masala this bright before.
Have you not? I feel like I
No.
have.
No.
See, we went to Tayyabs and we had the chicken tikka masala, and it was much more like this colour.
It was not
that's
that
like a
bright,
normal. I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
We all are. I'm very
So, you
excited.
know, this is actually quite a traditional thing to have like little bits
Pilau.
of coloured rice as
Yeah.
well. Like we often do like rainbow rice which was always a novelty thing.
That was my favourite track on Mario Kart.
All
Should we
right.
start dishing up? Joe, do
I
you
think
want
so.
to
Is
maybe
there
grab
anything-
yourself some rice? In my mind, tikka masala is this colour.
To be fair, this is. I mean, if you think about an authentic British Indian curry, if this is supposedly like a British take on
Yeah.
an Indian, traditionally South Asian food stuff, makes sense that it's that colour, right?
I think traditional is authentic is doing a lot of heavy lifting
Would you
there,
like some
but,
rice?
Yes, I would. Thank
There you
you
go.
very much.
but it's very, it's always tasty. For
Are you gonna do with a
comparison,
naan?
I'm gonna go for a little bit of a naan scoop.
It smells nice.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, cheers.
Mm-hmm.
This one is sweeter than the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Think so?
And much more creamy, right?
Yeah, a lot creamier.
The chicken is cooked well.
It's cooked well, very tender.
It's not chewy, which I get very angry when people give me curry and it's like chewy chicken. That's not okay.
It's almost impressive to make chewy chicken in a sauce where you've been like simmering it,
It's
right?
happened. It's happened to me.
Yeah, the one we had at Tayyabs definitely had some heat to it.
Yeah.
It wasn't spicy, but I think I was taken aback by that because this is, again, more what I'm used to from like a classic British curry house.
This kind of hits on the classic you were expecting.
Pretty much. There's almost no heat to it. It's very sweet. It's very creamy.
It's fantastic, though.
Mm-hmm.
I am very impressed with the flavor. Over here we have.
So this is the lamb vindaloo.
Okay.
It's got an interesting story, vindaloo. It's like come from several different cultures.
Yeah.
There's like Portuguese in there. Then it's kind of gone from Portugal over to India,
Yeah.
and then back to the UK. And every time it's kind of like changed what it actually is.
Interesting.
In the UK, if you order a vindaloo, it's basically like one of the spiciest curries that a curry house will offer.
Okay.
I've ordered this one with lamb.
This is a spicy guy.
This is the spicy guy.
This might be the thing that wakes me up.
It may be.
I've never tried this before because
Yeah.
I just wouldn't.
it's
Like, it's
potato.
not really something that I would. Is there potato in it?
I mean, it is aloo in the name, right?
Of course.
I suppose.
Okay, I'm getting the spice.
Potato in here.
I'm getting that tingle.
Is it only a tingle?
Yeah, it's not the overwhelming spice. Oh, another swallow. I'm kind of like feeling it build up on my lips.
You gotta watch out for those chilies,
Yeah,
man.
tongue, yeah.
They creep up on you.
This has a decent spice to it, but ooh, the flavor's just mwah. The lamb cooked perfectly.
I feel like for me, I'm not feeling anything.
Yeah.
But
No.
there is flavour there, which is really nice. I'd probably have a little bit more seasoning, but
If we had to nitpick, as mentioned before, Kay has made me cry with chilies before, and I'm not crying from that. It's very tasty though, like you say. I do think it's a nice balance of like, yeah, that warmth, the richness. That lamb, the lamb's so good, man. It's like
Yeah.
falls apart in your mouth. So I noticed that none of us have been tempted by the chips yet.
Yeah.
I will just say this is very much not authentic cuisine.
Yeah, I do want to say chips, fries, as we call them in the States, do not normally come with Indian cuisine.
No, and I'm not sure like when they started coming with British Indian cuisine, I do think it's very more the British side of British Indian. But I think it's one of those things again where sort of like immigrant populations would open a restaurant, and if there's demand there, which in Britain there often is demand for chips, you're just going to serve it. Like you're missing out on free money and free
Yeah.
customers if you're not.
Yeah.
And therefore, chips appear on the menu. I do think like they go well with stuff. I mean, what I will do is get a couple of chips, dunk it straight in that masala
can I
sauce.
also just weigh in and say these are more like These look to me more like French fries than they do traditional British chips. Like a chunky chip is what I associate with British.
Is this what I'm doing here, though? You got the sauce, huh?
Go for it.
And also, like, we do this at home. I'm British, Pakistani, Indian. Like, there's a whole mix going on there. Chicken and chips, man, it's a thing.
It's really good. It's really good.
I do think that's a good idea to have the chips, fries, to finish off the sauce. Because one thing I've noticed in my many years of eating Indian food is that you eat the protein or the veggie, that's whatever's in the sauce, and you usually have like a lot of sauce left. And that's just kind of what you grow to expect having Indian food.
Yep.
So to have something for cleanup is a pretty smart idea.
Yeah. One of the founding brothers of Tayyabs says that when he goes out, he will order chips with his Indian food. So,
All right.
yeah. It's not just a British thing.
Sounds legit.
Yeah.
And what do we have here?
So this is a bhaji, and it's kind of like a battered onion thing going on. I don't really like breaking them up because I just tend to eat them all to myself, but I'm going to split it up.
Annoyingly, they've given us 2 between 3. So just get stuck in.
They
That's fine.
Okay, I'll just,
You can have a whole one.
nah,
Yeah.
just, yeah.
They smell good too.
Crispy.
That's really good. That's fantastic.
I love ordering these when I go out. These are an excellent starter. These are like a mainstay in my curry order.
Sure.
That's a good one. It was very crispy. Not overly oily.
This was fantastic. I loved everything. I think the chips thing is growing on me. Again, I'd probably be more of a clean up with the naan than the chips, but I think it's a pretty good, an inventive idea that I do stand behind.
And then, Kaya, final note from you. How does this kind of compare to a home-cooked Indian meal? Is it better? Is it worse? Is it just different?
I do still put them in 2 completely different ballparks because they're just not the same thing for me. And it's still a really nice thing to go out for an Indian, but for me, it just tastes so different to my mum's cooking.
Kaya, thank you for joining us. I hope you've had a nice time. Please take some leftovers because I'm not going to want any more curry after today.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
So what do you want to do next?
I've probably got room for like 2 more curries.
Yeah, I can go for 2 more curries.
All right, cool. That sounds good.
Let's go.
Let's go. So, and this is Punjab Indian restaurant. They've been here since the 40s. They used to be actually further in East London, and then they moved here actually to be closer to the Indian Embassy, which is really cool because the staff at the Indian Embassy missed some like traditional dishes from India, and they moved here to be closer to that to supply that demand. So you know it's going to be authentic here, and from what I've heard, very tasty. Although I've not been here before.
Well, I'm very excited. Everything in the menu looks amazing. I love the vibe in here too. Really digging it. So
yeah, a lot of like historical feel to it. Pictures on the wall. They're pretty like proud of the heritage here.
So we're 2 in. We're about to do 3. What are you expecting from this one that's different from the other 2 we've been doing?
I think with this one, we should pay especially close attention to the flavors because one thing that I don't think we've actually talked about much yet is that oftentimes with curry houses in the UK, they will all start their curries from the same base. So you'll get basically their masala, which is like their blend of spices. They'll kind of create that, and then every curry is built upwards from that same foundation.
Okay.
So I want to see if those flavor differences really shine through with like a couple of the different options that we've got today.
Yeah. Ooh, I can't wait. Something sizzling.
Like sizzling on its way over to us.
The chicken fresh special, that's the flambe.
Okay.
Okay. Yo!
I mean, that's just great fun.
That was fun, yeah.
And that's the jasmine sauces.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Talk about a dish to get everyone's attention.
There we go. Yeah, we thought the previous sizzle was good.
Yeah. Wow, wow, wow.
Man, look at that. So this isn't the masala, this is just the chicken tikka. So you get these pieces of meat, usually put on a skewer and then grilled over an open flame. So it lends itself to this really lovely charred flavor on the outside. And we've got like a mint sauce on the yogurt, I think.
Really succulent. Fantastic cooked with that. Nice little show with them setting on fire too. I mean, you know.
People in America love dinner and a show.
That's
kind
right.
of our version of dinner and a show.
Yeah, that heat knocked me out of my jet lag for about 30 seconds. And it's just settled back in.
So what we have here, samosas. You had one of these before, right?
Yes, I have had a samosa before.
These are fantastic.
Yeah.
A real staple. These are very like spherical as far as like the ones I'm used to. Sometimes you see them as like quite a flat triangle.
No, these are usually the ones that I get in America, yeah.
Where's these?
Place I go to in LA has them like this.
I was going to cut them, but like, what am I thinking? I'm just going to fly straight in. With the sauce.
I love these so much. So definitely a go-to.
Oh man.
Whoa. The pastry, the crust, so savory. Fantastic, wow.
This is another thing that's like, it's easy to mess up. It's kind of like, similarly to the bhaji, when you fry something like this, it's kind of a risk that you'll just make it really oily and gross, but you get none of that here. Just like extremely like flaky, crispy pastry. That filling's really good. I don't know what that sauce is, but that was lovely as well. It's like sweet and smoky.
Chicken tikka masala.
Thank you, sir.
Lovely, thank you.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Okay, start with the classic, the tikka masala. Initial impressions, not as
It's not as vibrant
not as,
as the last one.
not as
Yeah,
luminous.
this is the color, like, okay. But I want to say also, the first one, again, was more like this.
It was darker, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to see, yeah, I guess like what small changes they're making that are kind of causing quite a big difference in the end product.
Oh, man. That is fantastic.
That might be the strongest reaction we've had today.
Yeah, this sauce. Ooh, wow. Right?
Mm.
Right? What is it about this one that stands out from the last two? I feel like the sauce is like bonded more to it, like it's thicker and creamier. Although
Yes.
the last one was pretty creamy too. This one, I mean, the flavor of the sauce is remarkable.
There's a richness to it that I don't think we've had before. It's that like concentrated flavor.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I
We
love
get,
that
like,
so much.
Intense tomato flavor as well from that one.
Yeah, there is a richness to this one that we have not had in the previous two.
No.
I'd say the previous two weren't also very good, but this one, as far as like first bites are concerned, that's the first one I've been like, yo.
Yeah, that was the strongest reaction I've seen from you all
What
day.
are you doing?
I'm just giving you some rice.
Okay, thanks.
I'm trying
So,
to.
and what about today have made you think I can't rice my own
I'm
plate?
trying to be a gracious host.
All right.
I did just want to point out the description on the menu of the garlic naan,
What do you got?
which says that if you have any erotic activities planned for after you leave us, perhaps you should resist this sensational garlic naan.
I don't know if it's erotic, but after this I'm meeting up with Dracula.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I mean, maybe stay clear. Don't want to give him some kind of like reaction.
Blah. That's my whole Dracula impression.
Blah.
Blah.
Has Dracula ever said blah in the books?
Like I've read a Dracula book. I'm more going about the Dracula from Looney Tunes.
Oh, okay. Not Bram
Blah.
Stoker.
You know what? Maybe you don't pick up on this here, but in America,
Go on.
I have noticed a lot of Americans would probably think Dracula is from Great Britain.
Okay. Oi, mate, let me suck your blood. I think it works.
What's all this then? When Van Helsing shows up, what's all this then?
We've gone wildly off task.
Oh,
So Indian food.
yeah. This is fantastic. Oh, I haven't even tried that on yet.
That is garlicky. They're not lying. I mean, if you actually look at
Yo.
it, I wasn't sure what these were, but I think this is like strips of like grated garlic,
Wow.
just straight on there.
I'm not playing with the garlic here. And
Vampire-free zone.
Yeah, forget about churches. I'm gonna get vampires chasing me. I'm going here.
I do like the amount of garlic on here. It's very garlicky.
Yeah.
I think maybe the texture, it's like on the thinner side, a bit more like thin and crispy than we've had at some of the other places. A lot of the time when I think of naan, it's a bit more like pillowy and thick.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I'm hitting my limit. I have room for maybe one more curry.
That's great because we have one more curry to eat.
Fantastic.
Ready for that?
Let's do it.
Just think of the sleep you're going to have at the end of this.
It will be
You're
restorative.
going to make it all worthwhile.
All right.
All right, man.
Let's do it. Let's go. All right. Hey, it's another great day.
Cheers, my man.
Don't believe we had this before. but
This
it
is
looks like a
mango lassi. This is
Lassi.
another sort of classic South Asian drink. Give
What's
it a
it-
try and see what you think.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was about to ask what's between this and a smoothie, but it's great. This is actually fantastic.
It's really good. It's very thick. It's like a yogurt-based drink. This one has mango kind of blended into it.
It's funny, I was thinking on the way over here, like, I'm really thirsty.
Yes.
And nothing quenches my thirst quite like anything the consistency of gravy.
The thickest liquid
Yeah.
imaginable.
I'm just imagining, like, finishing a marathon and handing me this, like, no. Slightly better,
Hey,
thank
look, we did a food wars and we talked about thick water, and you loved thick water. This
I
is
did
just
say-
kind of like that, but with fruit.
I will say,
Okay.
Harry, if I ever have a problem swallowing pills,
Yeah,
this is it.
take one of these. So Joe, here we are at our last spot of the day. We are at Spice Village. We're in Tooting. Have you been to Tooting before?
No. What kind of question is that? Have you been to Tooting before?
I have been to Tooting. My brother actually lives kind of around here. I haven't been to this restaurant before though.
Okay.
So now we're in South London.
Yeah.
We started off in East London.
Yeah.
I think between maybe East, South, and maybe like Southall and some areas kind of like northwest London. Those are the areas where you're probably going to find some of the best South Asian food in London. So this is kind of like completing the tour in that regard.
Fantastic.
Compared to some of the other places we've been today, this place is slightly more modern. They only opened, I think, after the year 2000. Been here about 20 years, but in that time have established a real foothold in the kind of like South London curry game. They are known for doing a very good curry, which is of course why we brought you here.
Heck yeah.
They were shortlisted at the British Curry Awards.
The
this year.
BCAs?
The BCAs.
Wow.
Highlight of the calendar year for many people in the UK. They're taken seriously, like politicians go.
When
It's
you,
a major
when you
thing.
purchase your yearly calendar, you flip right to it, like, gotta make sure I don't accidentally get right to the,
And the curry themed calendar as well, so you flip it over and you're like figuring out which curry you have for that month.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh,
You flip the March, like, oh, I can't wait to eat that one. Ooh, it looks good.
But look,
Hey,
curries-
we're kind of joking around, but like, if I still had a paper calendar hanging up to use for it, a curry-themed one would be really great.
Yeah,
Like
curries
I
of
would be
London.
Curries of London calendar. I will purchase that one. We should make that.
I think we've been pitching merch for a while now. I think Food Tours merch, that could be like the first place to start.
I'm rallying for this curry.
Can you make one more?
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool. We'll do that.
Okay, I have to say, this looks incredible.
The food looks very tasty. Would you like to serve yourself? Last time you didn't like it when I served you food, so.
It's not that I don't want you to serve me food, it's just it came out of nowhere. It was weird, all right? Yeah, is this going to become like a thing between us? I mean, the way you said that was very pointed.
I was trying to do a nice thing and I just felt like it got thrown back at me, but that's fine. We're going to be bickering like an old married couple by the end of this.
Can I get the check, please? All right, I'm loving how this looks.
Okay, man.
And go.
Cheers, man.
Dude. Whoa.
It's really good. Okay, we're hitting some areas there.
I'm just going to free associate.
Spitball, go on.
Heat, spice,
Yeah.
perfect level. I'm feeling the heat, nothing I can't handle. Let me know it's there. Enough to really keep the tingle going as you savor the rest of the flavor in your mouth. Speaking of flavor, fantastic on this. Savory, again, thick enough to where you really get in the flavor of the sauce, but not too thick where it's like pasty. It's not thin enough to where you feel like it's running around everywhere. Dude.
I think you're right. You've hit on the sort of like the mouthfeel that you get there, the like viscosity of that sauce. It really like coats your whole mouth.
Like I'm still, like just one bite, I'm still like holding onto the flavor and the spice. It's not so much like, ow, it's like a numbness that just is soothing. It's almost like my mouth is relaxed.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel like that's taken us on a bit of a journey there. I bit into it and I was like buttery.
Yeah,
like smooth.
whoa.
Heat starts to rise. You get the tomato, you get the spices.
That's fantastic.
I'm gonna try with a bit of the naan.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
dip. Oh, naan's really good too.
It's that thin style of naan again, which
Yeah.
I think is actually maybe a bit more authentic than the kind of thick, fluffy ones.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I adore that. That was very good. Okay, pakoras? I've had
Yeah,
pako-
so these are pakoras.
No, I've had pakoras before.
You have?
Oh yeah. I haven't seen pakoras shaped like this. They're usually more of
No.
like a lump.
Yeah, I'm used to these more in like bhaji type of form. But I like this. I feel like you get a lot more exposure to the oil and therefore they'll like get crispier.
This might be the best pakora I've ever had. And I love my pakoras.
There we go. Okay.
Wow.
I feel like the spice level of this dish is higher than probably any of the other tikka masalas we've had today, right?
Yeah.
Not in a bad way.
The
I'm, like,
spicier
really
one,
liking it.
but want to make it clear, like it wasn't too spicy, or like overwhelmingly spicy. Enough heat to like remind you where it's from.
Yeah.
The heat is almost like, I could bring it. I'm choosing not to.
Yeah. Just like flexing on you a little
it's just
bit
like,
there.
it's like to forget where you're from. What's up, taste buds?
Tikka masala, part of the reason why we've tried it, I think, is because it's such a good reflection of the curry house. Because there's no two recipes that are the same. Everyone does it slightly differently. Even here, they have two recipes. We got the creamy one, or you can just get kind of the normal one. But I thought the creamy one would be nice.
But you're out of your mind if you're getting one different from that. I mean, I guess I would try the normal one, but there's no way they have a better version than that.
But I mean, all the versions we've tried today, no two have been the same, have they? They've
That's
all
true.
been completely different. I just think that's really interesting. And again, I think it's a nice way to measure the quality of a place, just like as a baseline, kind of building from there.
Didn't Kaya say that like Indian food will differ family to family?
Yeah.
So it's interesting that per Indian restaurant it could be completely different.
Yeah, I think there's no like right or wrong way to do it.
Sure.
Obviously, it will come down to personal preference.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just really fascinating to see those little changes in the gravy and the masala being so strongly reflected in the final product.
Yeah,
They've
I
all
agree.
been delicious. I think we've got a decision to make.
Yes, we do. So first of all, thank you for taking me all these great places.
So welcome.
If these four are any indication of the Indian food you can get in this city, in this country, wow, you guys are so lucky. What I loved about it is every place did it basically how they wanted to do it, you know?
So Tayyabs, I do have a soft spot for. I've been there before. Love it there. The lamb chops were fantastic.
Oh yeah, those lamb chops.
Those lamb chops were excellent.
This ain't a lamb chop video though.
Not a lamb chop
But
video.
those lamb chops, world famous, rightfully so.
True.
Yeah.
I think Brick Lane was good. It was educational, I think, for
Yes.
you. Maybe not in terms of quality or taste the best, but I will always have a soft spot for the British curry house experience.
Yeah, and the chips with there, that was fun.
Yeah, the little thing of ketchup, fantastic.
Yeah,
Love
there's
to
a
see
lot
it.
of ketchup,
There's a
yeah.
lot of ketchup.
Okay.
And then between, I think, Punjab and Spice Village, what we've seen really is a more like elevated experience. I think
Absolutely.
the flavors on display here have been wonderful.
Yeah.
And for me, I think it kind of comes down to these last two. But I want to hear what you think first, Joe.
So it was down to these last two, but for me, this was the best one.
This was the best.
I'm just jumping to it because I say like everything about this was fantastic. The spice, I know it's the texture, the mouthfeel. The chicken was cooked perfectly, and these pakoras were the best I've ever had. I know we were also talking about the naan. This might also be my favorite naan.
Interesting.
Yeah. So for me, this is the best one. What do you think?
I do think this might have just nicked it.
This one of them. This is
Although
the
I
best
don't think it's as big a margin as you might think.
one. Oh really?
Just pipped it to the post, but I mean the flavor of that is just unbelievable.
This, yeah. So I think we're in agreement. This is the best food we've ever eaten ever.
Wave the little Spice Village flag.
This also has a distinction of being the first food tours we've done where I kind of want to steal the cutlery. So you can see, because I mean, with the brand on the cutlery, you know they're doing something right.
Golden cutlery for a gold star
This
restaurant.
looks like if I knew how to throw a knife, I could just like flick right at the wall. Anyway, yeah, this place is fantastic. Worth coming down. The only reason to come to Tooting.
You're the first American to step foot in Tooting. First of many, I hope.
Yeah, and the last. When I go back to how was it? I was like Tooting, skip it.
That's fine.
Skip it.
Yeah, just gatekeep Tooting.
Yeah. All right. The end.
Boom.